You attempt to spring out of bed like a Greek god, only to realize that your entire body has solidified into a literal rock. Your body had just committed treason. You swing your legs over the edge, and the moment your feet hit the floor, you realize these aren't your legs anymore. They are completely ignoring your brain's commands. Everyday tasks suddenly become extreme survival challenges. Need to use the toilet? That's a one-way trip. Once you squat down, you are never, ever getting back up. Pulling a t-shirt over your head feels like a literal wrestling match against your own lats. It's the ultimate nervous system betrayal. How were you flexing in the gym mirrors yesterday? Feeling completely invincible, only to wake up today, looking like a glitching zombie? Welcome to Fitness Myth Lab. Today we dissect exactly why you're currently paying with your life, just for surviving leg day. Now, let's talk about the prime suspect. Walk into any gym, talk to that swole uncle at the local park, or scroll through your favorite fitness idol's TikTok comments, and they'll all confidently tell you the exact same thing. Bro, it's just lactic acid building up in your muscles. It sounds super scientific, doesn't it? But here's the cold, hard truth. Lactic acid has been framed. It is the most falsely accused innocent bystander in the history of fitness science. Let's look at the real biological mechanism. When you're under the bar, grinding out that final soul-crushing rep, your body is in panic mode. It switches to anaerobic metabolism. It's desperate for energy and doesn't have enough oxygen to keep up. The byproduct of this chaotic emergency energy system? Lactic acid. Or, more accurately in your body, lactate. Lactate is exactly what causes that horrific, fiery, burning sensation right in the middle of your set. It's the literal fire that makes you drop the dumbbells on rep 10 because your biceps are screaming for mercy. But here is its ironclad alibi. Your body is an incredibly efficient biological vacuum cleaner. It doesn't just leave waste lying around. That lactate, it gets completely recycled into energy or flushed out of your bloodstream in a flash, usually within 30 to 60 minutes after you walk out of the gym. Think about it. If lactic acid was the real villain causing your pain, you would be crying in agony the exact second you finished your workout. You wouldn't feel perfectly fine for 24 hours, only to wake up 2 days later, completely unable to navigate a staircase. Blaming lactic acid for the extreme soreness you feel on Thursday, when you hit legs on Tuesday, is literally like blaming your Tuesday morning oatmeal and for failing a math test on Thursday afternoon. It makes zero sense. So, if the acid is long gone, what kind of microscopic warfare is actually happening inside your body right now? Let's be brutally honest. Gym culture has brainwashed us into a weird, borderline masochistic cult. For decades, we've been chanting the same 4 words like a religious mantra. No pain, no gain. We treat extreme physical suffering like the ultimate badge of honor. Think about it. If you wake up and don't feel like you were hit by a speeding freight train, what's your first thought? Did I even train hard enough? Did I just waste my expensive pre-workout? We actively crave that agonizing soreness. Why? Because it gives us a fake sense of security. We use pain as a twisted receipt to prove our muscles are getting bigger. But here is where we need to draw a massive, bold line in the sand between actual physiological muscle soreness and just straight up stupid training. Pushing yourself to the point of creating controlled microscopic tears in your muscle fibers? That's good. That's the goal. But ego lifting with terrible form. Until your shoulder joints scream or your lower back feels like a crushed accordion, that is not effort, my guy. That's just an injury. Think of building muscle exactly like renovating a house. Yes, you have to tear down some old drywall to build a bigger, better room. That's just common sense. But that doesn't mean you grab a sledgehammer, absolutely obliterate the entire foundation into a pile of useless rubble, and then stand there proudly calling it hard work. Purposefully destroying yourself in the gym until you literally cannot walk doesn't magically build more muscle. It just delays your recovery, completely fries your central nervous system, and makes you look incredibly pathetic trying to get out of your car the next morning. So, if lactic acid has a rock-solid alibi, and no pain, no gain is mostly just bad advice, who is the real mastermind behind your misery? Enter the true villain, DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. Phase 1, the micro tears, the crime scene. Let's zoom in, past the vein, right down to the cellular level. Your muscles are made of millions of tiny contractile units called sarcomeres. When you lift, these slide back and forth. But here is where the real damage happens. The eccentric phase. Most guys think pushing the bar UP builds muscle. Wrong. It's when you slowly lower that heavy barbell during a squat that the murder actually happens. During this lowering phase, your muscle fibers are desperately trying to contract, but the heavy iron is simultaneously forcing them to lengthen. Imagine a thick rope being pulled in opposite directions by 2 massive giants. The tension builds until individual threads start violently snapping. That's exactly what's happening to your sarcomeres. We call these micro tears. You are literally ripping your own muscle fibers apart. Phase 2. The immune system's SWAT team. Once those fibers tear, all hell breaks loose. The cell membrane rips open and suddenly calcium leaks out everywhere, like toxic waste spilling from a broken barrel. This massive leak triggers your body's ultimate panic button. Your immune system realizes the tissue is damaged and dispatches its microscopic SWAT team to the crime scene. White blood cells called macrophages. Think of them as aggressive microscopic Pac-Men. They flood into your torn muscle tissue and ruthlessly eat up the dead cellular debris to clean up your mess. Phase 3. The pressure cooker. Now, this cellular cleanup crew is messy. While eating dead tissue, they drop chemical bombs. Inflammatory markers like cytokines and histamine. This is where the real pain begins. These chemicals cause acute inflammation, forcing fluids to rush directly into the damaged muscle. Your muscle essentially balloons up. But here's the catch. Your muscles are wrapped in a tight, unyielding casing called fascia. As the fluid builds, the pressure inside that tight casing skyrockets. And guess who gets crushed? Your nociceptors. The highly sensitive pain receptors wrapped around your muscle fibers. They're literally being squeezed to death. Screaming at your brain, Mayday, everything hurts. Abort mission. Solving the 48-hour mystery. And this is why you don't feel the pain immediately. DOMS is an inflammatory response, and biological inflammation takes time to build up. Your SWAT team needs hours to travel, clean, and pump the area full of fluid. That swelling peaks between 24 to 48 hours post-workout. That's why you feel like an absolute beast on Tuesday night. But wake up Thursday morning, feeling like a crushed soda can. But hold on. If you're literally tearing your muscles apart, does all this crippling pain actually guarantee you're building more muscle? Brace yourself for the ultimate plot twist. You can absolutely build massive, boulder-like muscles without ever reaching the point where you need a wheelchair to get to the kitchen. In fact, if you are actively chasing that crippling, agonizing pain every single time you step into the gym, you are probably killing your gains. Let me introduce you to a brilliant biological cheat code, the repeated bout effect. Have you ever noticed that a new workout makes you sore for a week, but a month later the exact same routine barely hurts? That's not because your workout sucks. That's your body literally upgrading its armor. Your nervous system and muscle fibers adapt, the tissue becomes far more resilient, and the microscopic damage decreases, even though you are still triggering muscle growth. If you constantly switch routines just to confuse the muscles and chase, that's soreness. You're endlessly tearing down the foundation of your house without ever letting the builders finish the roof. Worse yet, extreme soreness is incredibly dangerous. When you are that sore, your mobility is garbage. Your form gets completely sloppy. You try to squat while your quads are screaming. You end up shifting the weight to your lower back, and boom, you herniate a disc. You're out of the gym for a month. And you know what actually causes you to lose muscle? Sitting on the couch for 4 weeks eating potato chips. Because you were too busy ego lifting to train smart. So, how do we fix this? How do we survive the 48-hour DOMS death sentence without losing our minds? First rule of survival, do not lie in bed all weekend like a mummified pharaoh. I know every fiber of your being wants to stay motionless, but sitting still is the absolute worst thing you can do. You need active recovery. Go for a light walk. Do some easy mobility work. Hop on a stationary bike at a grandma's pace. Why? Because moving acts like a mechanical pump. It pushes fresh, oxygen-rich blood straight into your microscopic construction site and actively flushes out the cellular waste. Second, you have to actually supply the construction site. Your immune system is screaming for materials. Protein is the literal brick and mortar your body uses to patch up those micro tears. If you train to failure, but don't eat enough protein, you're basically asking your internal builders to fix a collapsed concrete wall using nothing but hopes, dreams, and a roll of duct tape. Finally, sleep. You do not build muscle in the gym. You only break it down. You build muscle in your bed. Deep sleep is when your body releases human growth hormone, and your biological repair crew works at maximum capacity. At the end of the day, a little muscle soreness is a good thing. It's a physical receipt that you put in the work, challenged your limits, and told your body it's time to grow. But remember this, extreme pain is just a sign that you tried. It should never be the reason you quit. Train hard, recover smarter, and treat your body like a science, not a slaughterhouse. See you at the next leg day. If you want to stop falling for fitness BS and learn how your body actually works, smash that subscribe button and join the Fitness Myth Lab. Stay smart, stay strong, and we'll see you in the next video.